Hello, this is Bindu. Today we will switch over to the remaining part of ethnography. Here it is. The popular ethnography means how it happens. Popular. It depends upon the social interaction. After interaction or during the interaction, our behaviorism or our behavior, they will consider it. If depending upon the behavior, the mode of interaction, we can easily understand it. That's why social interaction and behavior, these two are important for the popular of ethnic, that is the ethnography. Example where we will observe in community or organizations. And switch over to the Indian professors, we should always highlight with a reference to the ethnography or anthropology, because our scientist numbers are very limited. Example, Majumdar. This Majumdar was the beginner for the subject of anthropology or ethnography, whatever it may be related to the anthropology. Just he started initial stage, bud stage, where it published whatever the idea he had in that time, where he published Asiatic Society of Bengal. And M.S. Krishnan, he was not at all the anthropologist or ethnographer, but he got his position in anthropology. Basically, he was a geologist, study about the stones and the earth relatedness. And also his position was high, director of Geological Survey of India. During his process of work, his departmental work, he found that there is a culture which is useful for the societal existence or the continuation. So he was the first person to introduce the anthropological thoughts in India. Though he may belong to the geology, situation molded his behavior to think about the anthropological perspective. And Saras Chandra Roy, he was the father of ethnography in India. So these three gentlemen are from India. One is Majumdar, beginner. Second one is M.S. Krishnan. He was a geologist, but tuned his mind towards the anthropological perspective. Third one is Saras Chandra Roy. He was the father of ethnography in India, only India concerned. And also, one of the anthropologists got the Nobel Prize. Who is that gentleman? Swat Pabo. In which area he got? Anthropology is a very vast subject. Many areas it encompasses, particularly biological anthropology. In specific, physiological system, physiological information. So in that he had done some work, so that he got the Nobel Prize in anthropology. And another very important person, Mr. Malinowski. His works are highly recognized. What are his works? One is popular field work. You and me, everyone is doing research work, going for the field work. But his way of doing the field work is very popular. A systematic procedure. And what type of technique he adopted for the field work? Participant observation. Participant observation is the part of under the observation. Observation is divided into four. Participant observation, non-participant observation, direct observation and indirect observation. Out of four, the Malinowski was selected participant observation. What is that? If we want to know the other group's culture, you should also become one among them. If you want, they cannot allow you. They should feel you are also good, you are also having the similar features. so that if they had the belief, then they will allow you as a member of their group. When you become the member of that group, automatically you can easily understand their way of culture. For that, participant observation is very, very, very important in ethnography. And the ethnographic work, general anthropological research is different, and in specific understand the cultural area, that is ethnographic work is different. His idea, his torchlight is focused on ethnographic work. And lastly, functionalism. In the functional techniques, I also used one word, psychological functionalism. So when the respondents are telling how they are behaving, this person is that points also he is noted down. That's why psychological functionalism. These 4 points are very important in ethnography according to the Malinowski. He has done his work only in a limited area? No, across the world, maximum his body permitted. Up to that he has done it. That's why he was the father of ethnography, father of social anthropology, or father of socio-cultural anthropology. His light is focused on the culture. Culture is important word. In ethnography, description of culture. Yesterday class we covered it. And we will switch over to the classification of ethnography. Maybe 6 or 7 varieties. First, earlier type of ethnography, what it is. Earlier, who are interested to know, or who knows about the ethnography? Nobody knows about that. Example, when the travelers are moving from one place to another place, and the explorers, they want to explore where there is a land area, is there any population or not. So one group is explorers, another group is travelers. Out of love, traveling is different. Out of queen inquisitiveness, explorers are moving. These 2 group of people are observed the various cultures, and they are going on writing, and they had written. What they had written? Their cultural aspect, cultural activities they had written. So ethnography is nothing but related to the cultural aspects. So what type of cultural aspects these 2 groups were noted down? One is religious aspect. In a long back, the very important institution is only religion. So they want to study the religion. And another word is which is closely related with the religion is magic. What is the difference between the magic and the religion? Religion is the right word. Magic is the pseudo-religion. It was introduced by Fraser. And the third one is myths. Maybe happened, may not be happened, but story was there. Mythological stories like that. And another important is kin relationship. How the people are moving together because of some blood relationship or consanguineous relationship. So these 4 points are very much observed by the travelers and the explorers. In which category of ethnography? Earlier form of ethnography or earlier ethnography. Second one is classical ethnography. Here the classical means automatically it goes with the preserved culture. Let it be the preserved culture. But the scientists, they want to study the culture very systematically, so that first they prepare one objective. Let us assume maybe the kinship, maybe the religion, maybe the family. Any one of the institution, they made the objective, goal point, purpose. Then after that, how they are doing the research, how they are getting the facts? By doing the systematic way. Systematic way is nothing but scientific pattern. So the classical ethnography is objective and also classical. and which goes with the word science. So the result is, when we are using the word science, result should be the maximum accuracy. So objective, scientific way of doing the research, and also more or less accurate results. Not 100% accurate like the physics and chemistry, but more or less accurate results. This is in classical ethnography. And there are contemporary ethnography. People are given more importance for the kin relationship rather than interact with the outside the people. First we will give the importance of our own kin people or our own relatives. So that contemporary period also the same procedure started. Now we are also still continuing. And important word is religion. In the world, we are having the 4 or 5 religions, and prominently 3 religions: Christianism, Hinduism, and the Muslim. These 3 groups of the religions are very important. It started from the long back, and it is also continuing. So in the contemporary society. So here the important point is, they are studied the kinship, how the kin people are performing their religious activities or cultural activities. By whom? With the kinship, kin relationship, or the relatives. And another one, modern ethnography. So we are moving to the advancement. In this modern ethnography, we want to see the life in future. At the same time, to understand the future, past is very important. What has happened last, then what we are enjoying, in future what may happen. So the modern ethnographers are thinking past, that is the history, they will study the history, and also political aspects or the political science. But there is a difference between the contemporary ethnography and modern ethnography. Contemporary ethnography is focused on the kinship and religion, but limitedly, limited area, limited time. But in the modern ethnography, history and politics, it is a specific event. If some event has taken place, politics means some events are very, very important. So event is important. In above that one is, limitation is very important. And then switch over to the another category or the another classification of ethnography, dialogue ethnography. We know in cinemas we are observing, TVs we are observing, that is the dialogues, that is verbal dialogues we are giving and we are listening also. For this, the researcher, when he wants to do the research, first he will observe the receiver or the respondent, how the respondent is receiving the researcher work, whether he is able to understand what researcher is telling. Okay. After that, whether it is qualitative question or non-qualitative question. When we will judge it? Depending upon the word that we are using in the dialogues. Dialogues, before what is there? Some conversation should be there. So conversation, dialogue. This dialogues maybe give the negative or positive or neutral. If you got any benefits, we are positive, hooray, like that. Negative, sad things, maybe death or some inconvenience or famine has taken place. At that time, our dialogues are different. And sometimes we will enjoy the nature, funny or humor. So all these 3 points are observed during the conversation and dialogue delivery, either negative, positive or humor. So where the dialogue ethnography comes, it is a part of experimental ethnography. Part of experimental ethnography. Then what is experimental ethnography? This is nothing but experimental ethnography. Systematically, we are collecting the data, systematically qualitative data we are getting. Systematic is science. Second one is qualitative data we needed, not quantitative data. Ethnography always focused is let in the qualitative but not the quantitative. We are not statistician, we had the number. Qualitative data. So based on the scientific way, qualitative data, when we are in the empirical study, empirical means practical study, when you have done, to whom it is useful? It is useful to understand social and behavioral aspects in the society. Social and behavioral aspects, if you want to understand, so what type of thing we should do it? One is systematic way, second one is qualitative way. This is the experimental ethnography. So dialogue ethnography is part of experimental ethnography. Then we will switch over to the another ethnography, salvanage ethnography. Salvanage ethnography is nothing but influenced by some XYZ who are influencing the westernization, western influence, modernization, modern influences. These two are clubbed together or separately disturb the culture, bringing the changes, so that the original culture lost some points, basic points only, relics like that it will be there. Salvanage ethnography. And another one is ethnography gesto. Ethnography gesto is equal to myriad changes has taken place. What is myriad changes? Myriad means nothing but many changes. If someone is influencing, maybe initially 2 persons may accept, later 5%, later 10%, later 100,000, the entire society will also undergo the change. So those changes are uncountable. When we are using the uncountable, we should use the myriad changes. These myriad changes are what it is bringing? Face upliftment, reconstruction of the various institutions. Earlier, what type of political organization? Monarch, limited monarchy, representative monarchy, like that. Second level, theocracy. Third level, some gerontocracy. Another level, oligarchy, like that, democracy. So these changes are coming because of influence of some. Some is nothing but the Western influence or the modern influence. So uncountable changes had been taken place. Because of that, each institution had undergone the changes. Then it turned into the reconstruction of the society. Finally, our point is reconstruction. In which area? Family changes, marriage areas changes, economy is also changes, political aspects also changes, religious aspects also changes. Before the entry of the Britishers or the Musliman, our India is only with the Hindus. Because of the entry of others, we were undergone change. Either forcibly, out of love, we may change. That is different. But whether you have undergone the change or not, this is important. That what we call ethnography gesto. These are the information with respect to the ethnography. Once again, popular ethnography is equal to, which are important point? Social interaction, and another point is behavior. These two are happening. These two are working practically. Where we will observe all these things, one is community, another is organization. And who is the first person to begin the anthropology or the ethnography, whatever the word related anthropology, let us assume Mr. Majumdar. How we came to know? It was mentioned in the Asiatic Society of Bengal. Then M.S. Krishnan. Who is this gentleman? He is a geologist in the highest position. That highest position is nothing but Director of Geological Survey of India. But the situations made his mind, mold his mind to understand the society in anthropological aspects. That's why he was the first anthropologist in India. Then another persons also entered. That is Noble Sarath Chandra Roy. He was the father of ethnography. In India, you keep it in mind. In India, who is the father of ethnography? Sarath Bipin Chandra. Who got the Nobel Prize in Anthropology? Svante Pabo. In which social anthropology? No. Is prehistoric anthropology? No. Only biological anthropology in a physiological aspects. Whatever it may be, it will also comes under the anthropology. That's why he got the Nobel Prize in Anthropology. Svante Pabo. And another very important person, Malinowski. He got the names father of social anthropology, father of ethnography, and across the world. But I told you in India, that is M.S. Rai, Sarath Chandra Rai, all these people are India. They were limited to the India. But the Malinowski is not limited to India. He is across the world. He has made the number of field works. So what is his what are the tools he has taken? Popular field work, participant observation, and also ethnographic work, psychological functionalism. Very important point. Even in the functionalism I used this is the one of the techniques. Then switch over to the classification of ethnography. One is earlier ethnography. Here it is. Who has introduced this? Travelers and the explorers. In which point they focused their light? One is religion, magic, myth and kinship. And the second category is the classical ethnography. Here it is. In the classical ethnography, is that person? Objective, accuracy and scientific. And another one is contemporary ethnography. Here it is kinship and religion. And another modern ethnography, history and political science. There is a difference between these two, modern ethnography and contemporary ethnography. In contemporary ethnography, limited time and limited way, but in the modern ethnography, specific event is important. Then switch over to the dialogue ethnography. Dialogue ethnography, how we can understand? The researcher will give the questionnaire to the respondent. Whether the respondent is able to understand or not, first he got the doubt. When he understood, when the conversation is over. So conversation, dialogue delivery and the humor. We should not be very angry with the other respondent. We should always maintain the cordial relations and the humor relations. By that we will easily get it. Keep the friendly environment while you are doing the research work. Don't say I am busy. If you are busy, go. Don't get the facts. So here humor, where we will see in dialogue delivery. In dialogues, where we will see during the conversation. This dialogue ethnography is part and parcel of experimental ethnography. Experimental ethnography is how it happened. The researchers should do the work, empirical work, that is practical work. How? Qualitative work. How? Ethnographic techniques. By this what will happen? It is useful to understand the society, social aspects and the behavioral aspect, that is social aspect and psychological aspects of the society. Then switch over to the salvage ethnography. The people were, native people were, particularly folk people were influenced by, who are weak mind, who are primitive mind. They will be influenced by westernization and modernization. Then changes are started. Where? Particularly native, American native places. Who observed it? Mr. Franz Boas, best anthropologist. And another last one is ethnography gesto. The ethnography gesto is nothing but qualitative work, practical work, description the culture, everything is over. Is it only 1 or 10 or 100 changes? No. Uncountable changes had been taken place because of the westernization and modernization. Within themselves also some changes had been taken place. As a result, what is happening? This is important. Earlier mode of frame is be reframed. Reformation has taken place. Changes has taken place. Where changes in institution? What are those institutions? That is the family, politics, economics, and the religion. In these institutions, changes has taken place in myriad way. Myriad is equal to uncountable. Many times, many ways, the changes had been taken place. By this, our ethnographic related areas up to my knowledge I completed. Now this is Bindu taking the leave from YouTube platform. Please kindly like it, share it and subscribe it. Good night.